Hannah, what are the roles and responsibilities in the new Act as it relates to councillor integrity, and who does it apply to?
So it's really, really important. The leadership of the council, the mayor and the councillors need to lead the behaviour, and they need to accord with the code of conduct. The mayor's role is fundamental in this, in leading the behaviour of councillors and supporting councillors to resolve any issues they may have. And taking the leadership role, it is absolutely fundamental in terms of being the leaders in the community and taking that seriously, and then setting yourself up for a great relationship, strong leadership with integrity that will see the best results for your term in the council.
So Stephen Cooper, what are the key differences between the 2020 Act as it relates to councillor integrity and the previous Act of 1989?
I think, Chris, there's some areas around accountability and culture that are more strongly addressed in the 2020 Act through the application of principles, rather than the prescriptive approach of the 1989 Act. So that goes to really a far greater level of clarity of responsibilities for the council, the mayor and the chief executive officer. So the fact that the 2020 Act talks about the role of the council and what good governance means in Section 8, that it will follow the governance principles of Section 9, and that councillors will comply with the requirements of Section 28 in terms of the responsibilities of councillors. They are really strong statements. Chris, in terms, moving on further, the role of the mayor in supporting councillors and councillor conduct has been strengthened in this Act. Again, so there is a strong signal that the mayor has a really important leadership role. But that also sends a signal in terms of councillors as their obligation to be part of the councillor team and to act in accordance with those good governance principles. And equally then, the role of the CEO continues to be well defined, and that requirement that the role of councillor doesn't include the role of the CEO continues, but in that broader, stronger framework of the principles of good governance, I suppose.
So Kerry Thompson, what are the key components of the councillor integrity suite under the new Act?
Well, Chris, this is fundamental integrity, isn't it, in public office? So I know you don't want to talk to me about what that word means, but absolutely how we do business and that we have the trust with the community is so important. So in the suite of what's there for a council and councillors, there's a number of elements that are covered by integrity. So there is absolutely a process for conflict of interest and how they're declared and worked through. Personal interest returns, so also very similar about any interest that, that may have a conflict with the work you do as a council and the decisions you're making. Improper conduct, gifts, the standard of conduct and the behaviour of councils and staff. So this is the fundamental sort of principle of how do we make sure that our values and behaviour about how we work together as a council with the executive staff and a community. This will drive that whole area. So there's a number of regulations under the Local Government Regulations 2020, which will go into governance integrity, which will provide a lot more details in that area. And of course, when a councillor, many councils we've already done this, the oath or affirmation, that will absolutely say how you're going to behave and your principle of working for the community in that. So there will also be very clear standards of conduct, and they literally cover how you treat other people, performance of the role of the councillors, the compliance with good governance, and how the council must not discredit or mislead council or the public. And of course, it's very clear that one of the standards is this does not limit robust political debate, because that's important as well. The 2020 Act also really covers a lot about what's improper conduct, and I won't go into that now, but that's absolutely vital. It also talks about the personal interest returns and covers the process about gifts and a gifts policy as well. And of course, the conflict of interest, which can be, very overwhelming for a councillor about what is a conflict, what isn't. And I always say, err on the conservative. If you're in doubt, you're better to declare and work through the issues.
And always make sure that you seek advice, because there are people who can help guide you in the right direction in helping you make the decision that you need to make.
That's correct, Chris. That's right. Have the conversation, and especially if you're a new counsellor, because, you know, you may just be finding this a little bit overwhelming about what is conflict, what isn't.